So let's go ahead and code our RSS reader file first. So this is our package, and in this we'll just right click and say new class RSS reader. So after naming it, just hit finish. And as we discussed earlier, we'll be having one URL for reading from which we'll just read the feed. And so for that, we'll just write a variable private string RSS URL. So this will be the URL from which we'll be getting the RSS feeds. Oops, I'm sorry, it should be private. Okay. So this essentially will be the URL from which we'll be just reading the feeds, and we'll be just inputting the URL. And let's go ahead and create a constructor of this class. So just type RSS and it'll give us the method. I'm sorry, just type RSS, and now you can see it is all giving us the option of creating the constructor. As Java is case sensitive, so you should be just typing the RSS the case sensitive way. So just double click it and you'll be getting the constructor. And in this again, we'll be just passing a variable RSS URL, and we'll be initializing this variable via constructor. So this dot RSS URL equals RSS URL. So in here we are essentially assigning the value to this variable via this local variable using a constructor. So let's go ahead and change this. Now after this, we'll have to get the RSS items. Now we'll be creating a method which will be called, and this method will get the parsing process, and this will basically parse the URL whatever will be passing this, and it will just process the result. So let's parse this. Let's create a method public, and its return type will be a list, and list will be taking from our java.util package, and it will be simply saying get items, or whatever the items will be present in our URL. And if it will not be able to pass that URL, and it will just throw an exception, so we'll just say throw an exception. So in here, as we discussed earlier, we will require a link from which we can read that, and we also need a title. What is the title of that feed? So first of all, before this, let's go ahead and create a new file, new class, and it will be live scores link, and whatever the link will be there, and then there will be some title to it, and so we'll just say link and title. And in this, as the name suggests, link and title, so we'll be creating two variables. First of all, private string link, and then we'll have one more variable which will be private string title. So link will be the link from which we'll be reading those RSS feeds, and title will be the whatever the title of that RSS feed will be. And after this, we'll have to generate getters and setters for this, and there are two ways. Either you can do it manually, or you can just use the internal Java tool to generate getters and setters. So for that, you have to just right click and then go to source, and here you can see an option is there, generate getters and setters. Just hit it, and after this you can just select the variables for which you want to generate getters and setters, and modifier by default will be public for them. And after selecting this, you just have to hit OK, and there you go. You have getters and setters generated for your two variables, and first was the link and the other was title. So with this, our live score link class is completed. So coming back to our RSS reader.java, and in this we'll be giving this our live score link title. So the list which, or the items which it will be returning, it will be a combination of link and title. So this is our class. Here it should be exception and not exceptions. So let's go ahead and code this. So first of all, we'll be using Sax parser. So we have two parsers with which we can read XML. One is Sax parser and other is DOM parser, and we'll not be going into the deep details of these parsers as the knowledge of these is beyond the scope of this tutorial. So we are just gonna use Sax parser. So you can create an object Sax parser factory